Hi, my name is Kevin and I live in a house. But enough about me. I still need to tell you all the things important about me. See this house? I live in it all the time, except when I don't. But I mostly do it like maybe 83% of the time, and that's too many percents too many. I know nothing about the world outside. All my information comes from a local migratory flock of armadillos, and they only come around every other Thursday. I'm not even sure the information they give me is true. They keep snickering when I ask them how Dilla the Hun is doing these days. I'm only concerned about his safety. It's not like I want to steal his Easter eggs. Not again, anyway. I learned my lesson the medium hard way. So that's it. I decided I am going off to see the world, and nothing but death or itchiness or almost anything else will stop me. So I stepped outside and fell off a cliff. But don't worry. Falling off cliffs is how all we bird people start our journeys. Or at least we would if I was one, but I'm not, so I fell down, hit my head on 3.5 rocks, and passed out for a few hours. When I came to, I was still knocked out, but I woke up 10 minutes after that anyway. The first thing I noticed was the sky had turned green and pointy and full of insects, and the ground was all blue and covered in a thick white moss, and suddenly opposite me. Luckily, Vernon, the intergalactic space giraffe head from outer space, came up to me and said,
"You silly sausage."
I didn't understand him, but he knew what he meant. I picked myself up and started on my journey. You need to remember, this was my first real time seeing the world, and things I hadn't seen before were all new to me unless they weren't, but they didn't anyway. The first major thing I noticed was a stop sign. It was ground and had a big green bushy bit on top, covered in apples. It was actually a tree. Fascinating, I thought, but not out loud. I didn't think I'd ever see anything more amazing than that. I was wrong. Can you guess how wrong I was? Why not pause and try to work it out on a calculator? If you don't have one, grab some penicillin and paper. When you're ready, skip ahead 10 seconds, and you may miss some important information. A penguin word pissed. I came to the conclusion that if I was going to see the world, I needed to stop stopping all the time and start not stopping to not stop. I kept on my travels and came across a dark and scary cave. I was smart enough to know not to go in there, but me mother always said I was stupider than I am, and before I knew it, I was well and truly deeply lost in the deep and truly not well cave. It was too dark to see anything, so I found a torch nearby and lit it with some matches I saw on the leftish side of the wall. I made my way through, not sure of what would happen. I had travelled for at least half the entire minute I was in there when, by coincidental, I came across a race of sentient marshmallow people. I was very hungry at this point in time, and I asked if they had any food I could have. They said they had no food for a human to eat, but I was allowed to eat them if I wanted. They didn't actually say I could eat them. When I started munching them down, they did keep screaming at me to stop, but I told myself I could eat them. And as long as someone says it's okay, well then that's alright. After finishing them off in what the United Nations would later call a mercy act and give me a medal for it, I managed to find my way out of the cave. If that's not karma, I don't know what is. I kept on travelling for a short while, but it was dark now, and fatigue was getting on my nerves. I found a small crater to settle in, and pulled out a sleeping bag from somewhere, and lay down. I stayed awake a while, pondering all the strange events that happened to me today. I'd only just begun to see the world, but I knew deep down in the bowels of my heart that the next day was going to be more exciting. So here I am, just a regular guy, enjoying the company of a silent night. No cares, no worries, just a desire to see the world, in my warm little sleeping bag, next to an otter, on the moon. Oh, that's right, I forgot to mention just after the cave I was ambushed by a group of 2 dilly doublers, and we had an awesome fight with lasers and robots, and there was lots of kung fu, and in the end they tied me to a rocket and launched me to the moon for reasons beyond comprehensions. I probably should have mentioned that before now that I think about it. Seems like an important plot detail. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine.